Welcome to this video with me, Duncan Williamson, Financial Ratio Analysis. The purpose of this video is to show you this file, the file that we're looking at now, which contains all the company details you can see in front of you now, headed by different sectors, oil and gas companies for example, by different companies, 6 or 7 in a sector, 20 in a sector, 3, 4 or 5. And what I'm going to do now is take you through this file and show you some of the features. Company analysis, Duncan Williamson, 12th of January 2023. And I want to record here that this is a day for remembering my old childhood friend, John Sutcliffe. In this database then, there are 43 companies, some with their own targeted analysis, and I'm including BP, Shell, Amazon.com, Apple, BMW, Tesla, and about 40 more. I've analysed the data over 5 sectors: oil and gas, software as a service, vehicles, personal care, and others. I've got 39 review ratios for every company, 27 company ratios, including me unique ratio calculation system, which I'll demonstrate. I use the stock history function from Excel. By the way, it doesn't always work. I'll try and demonstrate that too. But when it does work, it's fantastic. And when it works, it's always up to date. So when you open this file today, it shows you the latest available share price. I've included some graphs, charts, some histograms, and some other analysis. I've included Sparklines by default on every working sheet or ratio sheet or analysis sheet. And I've used the indirect function. It's a good thing, it's a bad thing. I'll tell you why it's good, you'll see, but I'll tell you why it's bad, you'll see. I'm also using data validation, range names, and in some cases, you'll find break-even analysis. There's 43 companies then, I've already mentioned them, here they are. In the oil and gas sector, there are 8 companies. In the others, all the way down to there are 21 companies. Software as a service, there we are, 6 companies. Personal and healthcare, personal and healthcare, that should say, and there are 4 companies, and that's it. Add all those together, and you get 43. By the way, next time you see this file, it could be 44, 45, 46. I'm adding to this all the time. You might find that, for example, Aston Martin, why are they in other when they should be in vehicles? How do we deal with that? Well, we do it this way. Ready? So Aston Martin, move it, moved, Aston Martin, a little bit more formatting, yeah, like that, save it, and that file is now up to date. It doesn't affect any calculations at all. All right, up to date now. So that's 43 companies, 5 sectors. What else have we got? Let's have a look at companies with targeted information, if I can do that quickly, and like that. So with Apple, what I did was, for some reason, maybe to do with the training I do, maybe something I thought of almost randomly, I decided, in addition to the raw data, I should take a look at the values, total revenue, cost of revenue, and so on, specifically for Apple, and maybe only for Apple, together with some of the diagrams that you'll see in the Financial Times. I've simply created them here in this file, exactly the way that you see them in the FT. They're not very creative, but they're meaningful. And the same on the right-hand side, another series of ratios, another series of graphs and charts. Purely for Apple. You might not see this on any other company. And then rates of change. I'm a big fan of rates of change, by the way. So here we see, for 2021, 2022, the total revenue has increased by 7.79%. You might find that ratio elsewhere in this file, but for this one, this analysis, that's unique to Apple. Now the review ratios, what What do I mean by review ratios? I mean this. There's a tab for this. This is a review of every company in one place at any one time. It says select a company of interest by using cell C5. When you click on cell C5, there you are. It gives you a drop-down list. All the companies in this database. So if I want to look at Google Alphabet, click on A5, click on Google, and in the twinkling of an eye, all of these ratios now only belong to Google. If I want to know about the last company I put in this database, Walgreens Boots Alliance, and there they are. That's 39 ratios specific to this company of your choice. You can have a look at each company's ratios for itself. What that means is that's this section here. So let's stick to BP. If I click on BP ratios now, it takes me to here, and here we have, as I've mentioned, 27 specific ratios relating to BP. You'll find some overlap between what's here and what's on the review sheet. Nothing wrong with that. 5 years, the same 5 years that are in the database, and I've got the name of the ratio. So which ratio category is it in? It's in an Excel table. That's a good thing. And it's by category. That's why it's targeted. But it's the same 27 ratios for every company. You can see that quite clearly. Here I've got my stock history ratios, data I should say, and it's working for BP. And what I've done, I've asked it to look at the stock prices for the last 730 days, starting with today. This is why it's always up to date. So it's gone back to the 12th of January, 2021, 730 days ago, and it goes all the way down to yesterday, the 10th of January, 2023. So you now know that the current share price for BP is 34.81, and it was 24.94 730 days ago. The volume, and here specific graphs, histogram, correlation between share price and the volume of shares traded. And over here, this is the unique programming system now. This is how it's unique. What I've done for every ratio here, so every ratio, I break it down into its constituent parts this way. The ratio formula is gross profit divided by total revenue. So what I do here is I give you the exact name that's in the Financial Times database. They don't have gross profit in their list of ratios, so I have to derive it. So I need to know the cost of revenue, total, the exact wording in the Financial Times database, and the total revenue. And then remember that. So that's in cell AH6, AI6, and other ratios, they've got 2, 3, 4, even more elements to them. So I have to break down the ratio in step by step by step. Then I do this. I use VLOOKUP to find AI6 minus AH6 divided by AI6. In other words, AI6 minus AH6 gives me the gross profit. That's total revenue minus the cost of revenue total. That gives me the gross profit. Then I divide it by the total revenue to give me the gross profit margin. This is my foolproof system of finding the ratio. And it doesn't matter how complicated. Let's have a look at one with the 4 elements. It's obviously a bit more complicated. VLOOKUP plus VLOOKUP plus VLOOKUP, all divided by VLOOKUP. That finds me exactly the right data in exactly the right place. In there, it might not be obvious, but I'm using range names. And this is BP, and the range name for the BP data is BP.